Beware. Beware. This is a warning. The Grim Reaper of radio, Bob Romanik, with his off-the-record show is about to air. He's probably the nastiest and craziest son of a bitch that you've ever had the misfortune to encounter. The Grim Reaper show will be very controversial and probably quite tasteless. If you are even slightly offended by controversial matter concerning religion, racial matters, politics, or life's problems, you are hereby warned to turn this program off immediately. The Grim Reaper show will be, like his face, very scary and very ugly. At this time, not proudly, but shamefully presents to you Bob Romanik, the craziest son of a bitch on the radio today.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, your guardian of the First Amendment. Radical Radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. I would say good Friday morning, but there's nothing good about what happened yesterday in Dallas, and there's nothing good what's going on today, and I'm going to get into it. Now, people, please, I'm going to probably offend some people, as always, so if you don't want to hear the way I feel, if you don't want to hear what's in my heart and in my mind, turn off this station now, because it's not going to be pretty. And I want to tell you for the last time, my friends, don't say you can't say that because you're running for office. I can say what I want to say when I want to say it, because I would not lose my manhood ever for a damn elected position, because it doesn't mean a crap to me. These politically correct bastards, they'd like to say something else, I'm sure, because everybody is not as lame as it appears in this great country. But we got to be politically correct. I'm politically insane, been politically insane, and I'll tell all you good people in my district, if you don't like what I say, don't vote for me. But if you like somebody that's going to tell you the way it is going to fight for this country, fight for our law enforcement, fight for our military, fight for our rights, then you can't get a better guy than me. Not a perfect guy. Sometimes I'm a no good son of a bitch like everybody else. But it's unbelievable what's going on. Hey, on their way in, and it'll have nothing to do with my ranting and raving, the Honorable Mayor of Freeburg, Seth Spicer, is coming into the studio today, because I want to, as every day, kind of honor the military. But I want to sincerely honor a gentleman I met last year, Mayor Spicer's son, Mitch Spicer. I've told you about this gentleman several times. Nice-looking young man, athlete, could have went to college, wanted to join the Marines. Wanted to join the Marines so people like me can have the freedoms that I have. People like you, don't forget, can have the freedoms you have. Now, as always, some people will say that I'm taking patriotism too far, and I'll say it every day. I'll say it every minute. Two things you cannot love enough: your family and your country. And your country is your family. So any asswipe, no good for nothing, rotten son of a bitch that says me or anybody else takes patriotism too far, go over to Iraq, go to Iran, go to Pakistan, go to Afghanistan, and then come back and tell me what you think, you idiots. But anyway, Marine Mitch Spicer will be with us, be our honored guest on the next segment. They're on their way in, Mayor Spicer from Freeburg. Now, don't convolute what I say as to what these gentlemen say, even though they're on the show. I don't know if they condemn or condone what I'm saying, but this is America, and we've got every right to disagree. But I just hate it when somebody says, Carl Officer, Roger Cook said this. No, they were on my show. I said it. They just happen to be sitting here, a victim of circumstance. And that's the same way with Marine, our proud Marine, Mitch Spicer from Freeburg, and his more than proud father, Seth Spicer, the mayor of Freeburg. They're on their way in. So again, whatever craziness I give, don't hold it against these two gentlemen. because these gentlemen here, I requested that Marine Mitch Spicer show up. I've been following his military career, and what a brave young man, and we'll get into that. But again, people, you know what happened in Dallas last night. And I don't know, and they're holding back. I don't know if it was a black guy who said he wanted to kill white police officers, or it was a white guy who wanted to kill white police officers. That's actually secondary to me. All I know that 5 police officers, I don't know if they were black or white, but to me they were red, white, and blue. They're like the military. They're out there protecting us. And we give them crap every day. Now, I get stopped. I got arrested 3 years ago. I didn't hold that against the policeman. I held that against Kern, of course, but we'll go into that later. I've been stopped before. I've got a lead foot. I don't hold it against the policeman. If he gives me a ticket, he's just doing his job, the job that these politicians tell him to do because they need the money. But why can't we defend law enforcement, people? Because law enforcement is our first line of defense domestically. Our military is our first line of defense in the foreign lands. But why do we have to? Now, there was a black guy killed. He fought with 2 white police officers in Baton Rouge after they shot this guy. And I don't think these white police officers got up like Carl Officer, a proud black man, said. These white police officers didn't get up in the morning and say, hey, I'm going to kill me a black guy. I don't believe that. These people, I've been a policeman. I know how dangerous it is. And it's not what you see on TV 2 hours later, sitting there eating your popcorn, scratching your hairy ass. You have to experience, like the military. Oh, that wasn't so bad. You be over there in Iraq and Iran and have those mortars shot over your head. Don't tell me how bad it's not. But people will second guess and judge a police officer. They weren't there. And then this asswipe, no good for nothing, rotten bastard son of a bitch and governor from Minnesota knows nothing about the shooting in Baton Rouge, but what he heard and the little bit he's seen, knows nothing about it. And he's going to say how egregious it is. Those policemen are bad. Hey, you asswipe bastard from Minnesota, you must be having sex with that sheep out in your backyard. This is America, you son of a bitch. Let the justice system decide. But no, you want to add fuel to the fire, you white ignorant bastard. You probably be afraid to go around a black person, and I'll bet you use the N-word. Fox, find out who this bastard governor is of Minnesota, will you? Because I got to have his name. It just really pisses me off. But you see how this no-good son of a bitch threw fuel on the fire? We don't know what happened with these 2 white police officers. And I'm not defending. If these policemen were wrong, if they're found in a court of law, judged by their peers to be wrong, then they're ass-white bastard bums with badges and need to be put in jail forever. But you can't hold every police officer, the professional law enforcement community, responsible for some bums with badges. But it seems like we do. Hey, Jesse Jackson, you no-good black son of a bitch, and if you were white, I'd call you a no-good white son of a bitch. Where are you at now? Where are you at condemning the killing of 5 Dallas police officers? Where are you at, big head Al Sharpton? I think Al Sharpton's a Martian. You ever see the head on that son of a bitch? Something ain't right with him. And the guys will say, Romanik, you're running for office. You need a lot of black support. Well, I tell you, I hope the proud black community understands what I'm saying, because the proud black community all throughout this country, they're not for the crap that's going on. And if I happen to lose a vote, lose an election, I'll lose it. I'm not losing my integrity. I'm not losing my manhood for a damn vote. And I'm telling you, this is the way I feel. And if most of you good people, black and white, don't feel this way, check your pulse. You're either dead or you're the biggest idiot I ever saw or heard of. Our law enforcement, they're walking on the street. Governor Mark Dayton. Hey, Mark Dayton, you no count. I got to give this bastard a call. Try to get the governor's office of Minnesota on the line at some point. People, just sit back and think. These 2 white police officers, and I don't want to make it a racial thing, but they shoot this guy. Here's all these protests. And now the police officers in Dallas, because blacks and white were protesting against these police officers, they were told not to wear riot gear. because they didn't want to offend the crowd, the protesters. So they come unprepared, these law enforcement officers, and 12 got shot. People, do you understand me? 12 police officers got shot, picked off like birds on a fence. 5 of them died. And that sounds bad. But see, it's not your father or mother that's not coming home. It's not your brother or sister. It's not your mom or dad. It's not your husband or wife. But there's 5 families where those people aren't coming home today. You got to think about it that way. Everybody wants to keep it far as away from as they can. But if you let a killer start killing at the end of your block and you don't stop him, he's going to kill you eventually. But where? Where is the public outcry that 5 police officers have been gunned down, massacred, and 12 total were shot? 7 still in the hospital, I would assume. 7 still in the hospital. Where's Jesse Jackson? Where's Al Sharpton? And I got to say, where's the white son of a bitches? Other than Bob Romanik. I want to tell you, it pisses me off as an American, not as a white American, as an American. It pisses me off that we can't stand. You know, what we're going to have in law enforcement in 10, 15 years are the bums that need to be put in jail, because any decent person is not going to want to be in law enforcement. I was a policeman for many, many years. I'll be damned. I would never, and I've got a master's degree in criminal justice, and I taught criminal justice. I would never, ever in my life want to be a police officer again, because they're totally disrespected. Now, a few of them need to be disrespected, just like a few judges, just like a few politicians, just like a few priests, like a few doctors and lawyers. But we don't condemn everybody. We don't condemn the proud black community when a black guy goes crazy and kills somebody. Why do we condemn all law enforcement when there's a couple bad apples? And I don't know about the shooting in Baton Rouge. I don't know about the other shooting in Minnesota or wherever it was at. But I would say Governor Mark Dayton from Minnesota, have you ever heard about our Constitution? Do you know why our brave military fight? They fight to give us the freedoms to live free. We've got a judicial system that decides the guilt and innocence of somebody, not you lame-ass, white, ignorant bastard from Minnesota. I think those son of a bitches, you know, had Jesse Ventura, you got that idiot Al Franken. I'm going to check the DNA on these people in Minnesota, because I bet you there's some sheeps or goats involved somewhere, because people can't be that stupid, I don't think. Now, maybe I'm wrong. And I'm not trying to be over melodramatic, people. 5, you hear me? 5 police officers who come unprepared because they didn't want to offend the protesters. Now they're protesting in Dallas because some guy got killed in Baton Rouge. They're protesting all over the country because somebody got shot in Baton Rouge, and we still haven't found out exactly what happened. You got to get all the facts. Same way with Ferguson. But it's amazing. Now, take it, and I don't know if they're trying to hold back, I don't know why, about these suspects, if they were black or white. Somebody said they were Aryan Nation, one of these skinhead idiot groups. I don't know why. Hey, we'd like to know. We as a people, be transparent. Either way, it shouldn't be a racial thing. It's a right or wrong thing. Al Sharpton, you greasy, no-count, rotten black bastard, and you are black. And I'm not a racist, but you're black as coal, you stupid son of a bitch with the big alien head. Jesse Jackson could barely put 2 sentences together yesterday, but you notice? They're not indicative of the proud black community. They're black charlatans. They're plantation Negroes. They're controlled by the white boys, and not only by the color white for the white boys, they're controlled by the big, most important color, green. These greedy bastards, they don't come out. They're like cockroaches. Cockroaches don't come out until it's dark and they can get some food. People like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, and we've got white bastards that are on the same list, on the same plane. They don't come out unless they can benefit personally, which means financially, to these rotten bastards. But think about it, people. Think about it, people. Why aren't we as a country? I was going to broadcast live from the courthouse, and we didn't have enough time to get our remote equipment prepared. I've got signs that say, Patriots salute law enforcement, and America salutes law enforcement. I salute law enforcement in the military every day. I know without our professional law enforcement, you hear what I said? Professional law enforcement, not the few asswipe bums with badges. And without our proud military, we're in trouble, people. But nobody is really up in arms. Now, it's on all the TV stations, all the news stations, all the radio stations. They're giving the facts. Now, let it be, and I got to flip the script a little bit racially, let it be a white guy that said, hey, I wanted to kill black police officers, and he was a police officer or not. There would be riot in the streets this morning. There would be riot in the streets this morning. So I ask you, all of us, not black and white, I ask all of us red, white, and blue. I ask all of us Americans, when are we going to stand up? When are we going to support? You had the chief there in Dallas just about crying, said, hey, we haven't got support from the people. Can we get support today? Now, they'll get a little bit of support. The law enforcement community will get a little bit of support today because everybody will be grieving the 5 deaths. But then it'll go away. I don't see white and black people. I don't see the vast majority of proud white and black people. I don't see them tearing up police cars, burning down houses, shooting other people. But every time there's a white police officer that kills a black man, whether it's justifiable or not, there's riots in the street. And I say that as a fact. I'm far from being a racist. I've helped out 1,000 I've helped out more black people than white people because more of the black people need help. I'm an equal opportunity helper because I've got the means to do it. But you got to tell it the way it is, people. A black man gets killed, wrestles 2 policemen, white policemen, and maybe they were wrong. Let's let the courts decide. But these ass-white bastards, just like in Ferguson, when this Darren Wilson was vetted by the president, the attorney general, the federal and the state grand jury found not guilty, and the ass-white protesters, both black and white, they still said it was injustice. You know, the only justice they want is what they want. And this is not their world, it's our world. That's why we have a judicial system. But let's all get together, people. Let's stand tall for law enforcement. Let's stand tall for our military. These guys are the one protecting us. We don't think about it until we need them. But once we need them, boy, then it's great to have them around. No, it's great to have them around all the time. It's great to have them prepared all the time. But for these 5 police officers killed, 12 police officers shot, ambushed last night in Dallas because someone, either an ignorant, white, stupid son of a bitch, Aryan Nation, one of these skinhead, bonehead bastards, I take that bone and shove it up their ass, or an ignorant black bastard. It doesn't make any difference of the color. There's 5 law enforcement officers dead. We don't know if they were black, white, don't know if they were men or women. And I don't give a damn. They were somebody's family. They were somebody's family. And they died. They died needlessly. I don't see, where's the protesters? Where's the people out in the street? I was going to broadcast live from the courthouse, and I may do it Monday in honor of these guys. Let's all unite. Let's all unite as one, people, black and white, men, women, Democrats and Republicans. Let's keep the damn politics. I'm tired of politics. Let's keep the politics out of this. This is serious. We've got some callers. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Yes, Bob. I remember back in 1968 when I was in the service, Fort Lewis, Washington, we took riot training. And it wasn't riot training for across the pond. It was for riot training over here. Back in the 60s was real bad. And, you know, we're sending these policemen out, black, white, or green. I don't care what color they are. No riot gear now. They can't even ride. You know, I've seen some of these policemen standing behind doors of cars. There's policemen out there with short pants on and shoes, you know, like walk-around cops and stuff like that. These guys can't defend themselves anymore. And we're putting them out there to be killed. Yeah. And you know what? We pay taxes, and our taxes are supposed to defend us. And if they can't defend us, who's going to, Bob?
You know, Don, I agree with you, but it's more than paying taxes. These guys have families to go home to. See, nobody ever realizes that. Nobody really cares until their family members involved. But, Don, you're exactly right. Back in the 60s with the riots. But it's even worse now. They were rioting about politics when they did at the National Convention in Chicago. They're rioting against police officers. Remember in Ferguson? They got chastised, the police department, because no longer can you use military equipment or military gear because it scares the crap bums. It scares the criminals. I say, hey, the hell with the criminals. Let's take it and shove it up their ass, their criminal black or white ass. But that's the problem, Don, and everybody else. They were told in Dallas, no riot gear. We don't want to get the crowd even worked up more than it is. So here, you policemen, take your guns, put them at home. Here's some lollipops. Give them to all the protesters. Let them think that we're okay. No, we don't need to let them think we're okay. They're law enforcement. They enforce the law. They don't have to kiss our ass. They have to respect us, but they have to do their job. But that's the problem. We've neutered law enforcement. We might as well put them in skirts like Kern. Mark Sweetcakes Kern might as well put them in skirts and high heels because we've made pussies out of all of these police officers, and it's not their fault. It's our fault. But whenever we need them, hey, if somebody coming to kill your family, you tell them put 4 tanks, get 5 mortars, do whatever, bring a helicopter and a jet. If it was your family, and remember, it's somebody's family, and that's what pisses me off. That's what pisses me off, because your family and my family is just important as the crap bum, as the protesters' family. But again, people, where the hell is the outcrying of support for law enforcement? If this would have been reversed, and it would have been a black-white thing, a white police officer or a white man saying, I want to kill all the blacks, especially black police officers, and a few of them died, there would be riot in the streets every damn day. And we're going to sit back. I'm not going to sit back and take it. When are we going to wise up, people? Now, I know it's probably going to hurt me in the black community, but see, the proud blacks, they're on the same page I'm on. Now, the crap bums, the no-good son of a bitches that want to kill the white police officers, I tell you right now, don't vote for me. I don't want your damn vote, because this election means nothing to me. Living in a free country, being able to be free, to talk free, to act free, to move around, that means something to me. A title doesn't mean anything. But that's what happens to most of these politicians. They got to be politically correct because they want to get reelected. Hey, walk out of there as a loser in the election. You'll be a winner in life because you'll have your integrity, your manhood. You'll have that intact, and that means more than any damn political title in the world. We've got another caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Hi, my name is Sandy. I would like to know why the flag flew at half-staff for Cassius Clay. Why not for 5 Dallas police officers? I have not seen one flag at half-staff today.
You know what, Sandy? Thank you very much. Now, see, Sandy, now I got to go to Walgreens and get some hemorrhoidal cream because you got my hemorrhoids popping out. Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah, Cassius Clay goes. They put the flag at half-staff early that morning. Hey, Obama, where the hell are you at? Hey, Kern, you no-good rotten bastard. You don't need the governor. You don't need Rauner. Him and Madigan, them bastards are up there fighting politically, screwing us in the state. You don't need them son of a bitches to tell you to fly the flag at half-staff. This is America. You want to fly your flag at half-staff, and I'm demanding, Kern, you rotten bastard, get your pussy ass out of the courthouse. Get out of that suit and tie and that air conditioning. Get out here in the heat and lower that American flag at half-staff for these five heroes, these 5 law enforcement people that were trying to save all of us. It's a symbolic thing. I don't see any big cry. Sandy, thank you very much. Now you really got me pissed off. Because you know how I honor my country, honor the brave military, honor the fallen. I don't see, and Sandy's right. I just came from the courthouse. I would have been out at the courthouse last night lowering those flags to half-staff. And I would hope every political leader, don't wait for Rauner. Hell, Rauner's up there playing bull crap with Madigan. Both sides are no good when it comes to the budget. You know, there's as much crap to go around for the Republicans as Democrats. But where? Where is the honor amongst you politicians? Every flag in this country should be flying at half-staff. The flags flew at half-staff, Kern, for Muhammad Ali. Cassius Clay float like a butterfly, sting like a traitor, a patriot, something. This no good son of a bitch gets a flag flown at half-staff for him because he dodged the draft. These 5 brave professional law enforcement officers went into the fire. They didn't run from the fire. They went into the fire to protect people that they didn't know. Probably people that hate them, both black and white. They didn't give a damn. That was their job. Where? Where is the decency and honor among some of you political people? Now, you public servants, and we have one coming in, Seth Spicer, he's a public servant. He does for the community, and there's a lot of public servants, elected public servants. But there's a lot of no good, no count, rotten, political, parasitical punks that we call politicians. But let's don't hold the public servants at bay because of these ass white bastard politicians. And let's don't hold our law enforcement, our entire law enforcement community responsible. We got another caller? Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Yeah, I was calling in regards to the shooting, not just in Dallas, and all over this country. Why is it that it's always white police officers killing black men?
Are you nuts? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? What are you talking about? It's always, I guarantee I give you 50 examples of black police officers killing white people. You know, this guy, Michael Brown in Ferguson, and you're from this area, he tried to kill that white police officer. Now, do you think, hey, sir, do you think Darren Wilson, the white police officer in Ferguson, do you think he was wrong in killing that black man? Yes or no? Hello? See, that's what I hate. That's what I hate when a sumbitch can't defend himself. Now, what do you tell me a white police officer always killing the black man? A white police officer in Ferguson killed the black man before he got killed. Don't put him in that statistic. See, that's the problem. That's the problem. That wasn't a proud black man. That was a racist son of a bitch. And we've got white racist bastards. But we're not going to sit there and just blanket it. Oh, it's okay because all the white policemen killing the black guy. Well, you know what? If you deserve to be killed, I don't care if you're purple. If you put yourself in that position, you're going to get shot. And let me tell you, I've been a policeman. Somebody stops you. Don't hassle, don't wrestle a police officer. Take care of it in court. Because these police officers, their lives on the line every day. You don't know what's in their head. They're thinking that every minute they could get shot walking up to a car. And they could. So, you know, they're on edge. Don't put them more on edge. The only thing we can do is just let's not have any law enforcement, okay? Let's don't have any law enforcement. You see how rotten this country would be then. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Hey, Bob, this is Carl in St. Louis.
Yeah,
I want to call about the police officers last night. That is a crying shame, and I just talked to an officer, a friend of mine this morning, and I said, did they catch him? They caught the one, and the other one took his own life. What a candy-ass coward little son of a bitch. You come out and shoot at cops and take your own life because you don't want to pay the consequences?
Yeah, you know, Carl, I agree with you. Now, I just had this ass wipe before, and I think it was a black man. And I'm not a racist by any means. But to make a blanket statement, hey, all the white policemen killing the black guys, there's so much black-on-black crime in St. Louis. There's so much black-on-black crime in Chicago. There's so much black-on-black crime all over this country. They don't worry about the 60 primarily black people getting shot in Chicago over the weekend, but let one white police officer or one bum with the badge, after the court decides that he's guilty, then he's a bum with the badge, then the whole world is in an uproar. What the hell's wrong with people, Carl?
The problem is I blame it on all this technology and people. Everybody's got tunnel vision. Nobody wants to see what's going on around them. What happened to the day when we had respect for each other? We hold the door open for the next person coming through somewhere. You said, thank you, please. You know, you checked on your elderly neighbors and things, and, you know, there was respect. There's none of that, and there's been none of this. And I want to get on this Hillary Clinton campaign thing, too, because there's two sets of laws. We got the law for the Clintons, and we got the law for the American people.
You know what, Carl? I agree with you. Thank you very much for the call. Hey, we've got a lot of callers. Hold on. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. Mayor Spicer and his hero son, and I say that because he is a hero, because he, like these police officers, didn't shy away from the war in Iraq and Iran. He went, instead of going to school, joined. You understand that, people? This young man could have went to college, had a great life, made a lot of money, but with all the turmoil in this great country, he felt compelled to throw all that away. I shouldn't say throw it away, to put it on the shelf for right now and join the Marines and protect us. Now, that's a hero to me, just like these law enforcement officers. We'll take some more callers. We'll be back right after this break. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting at its finest. America's bi-state voice of freedom. Radical radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very, you hear me, very proud to be the Patriot. This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. If you've just tuned in, we're talking about this massacre of our professional law enforcement in Dallas, Texas. And these political asswipe politicians, not the public servants, but the politicians, they don't give a damn. Obama don't give a damn. Rauner, Madigan, all you son of a bitches. A flag flown at half-staff for Muhammad Ali, a draft dodger. Can it not fly at half-staff in honor of 5 brave heroes that went into the line of fire to protect the citizens that they're sworn to serve and protect? I don't understand. Take a few more callers, and our special guest will be coming in here momentarily. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Bob, I just wanted to call and say a little something about the massacre in Dallas.
Go ahead.
This is Paul.
Yeah, go ahead, Paul. You got about a minute because we've got the lines full.
I feel so bad for the families of those officers that were killed. And you know, Bob, it still goes back to the training at home. Having kids out of wedlock all over the damn place, and it's just a pathetic situation. Pop them out, boys. Pop them out. You know. And I'm hurt. I'm very sad. Having 2 brothers that fought for this country here in World War II in the South Pacific. Myself in Korea. I look at it now, and I'm telling you, we've got one hell of a mess.
Yeah, Paul, listen, we got to cut you short. We do, Paul, and thanks for the call. We do have one hell of a mess, and I want to salute you and your brothers for your service in this great country. We've got some more callers. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Hey, good morning, Bob. Good show. I wanted to comment. First of all, my heart goes out to the policemen, and every police today. I think in driver's ed, they need to teach these kids what you do when you get stopped by the police. Hands on the wheel, don't make any sudden movements, tell them every movement you're making. And the other thing, that Mark Dayton, he's a liberal, no good, you know what?
Son of a bitch, go ahead, you can say it.
Yeah, his family owns Dayton department stores, similar to Macy's up in Minnesota, and they also own Target. Now, Target also was the one that said, oh, if you're a man dressed as a woman, you can go to the woman's room and all that.
Yeah.
So I just boycott Target for that reason. Now I got another reason. Yeah. But my heart goes out to those policemen, and I think people, when you get stopped, you put your hands on the wheel. And if it's at nighttime, I'm a cab driver. We were always told, turn on your dome light.
Yeah.
Anything to make the officer I mean, they're never really going to be.
Yeah, here, Mike. Here, and let me cut you short because I've got a lot of callers. But you're right. But see, it's the attitude and it's the environment that's going on. These policemen, they want to. When I was the chief of police, you know what I told my guys? 2 things I want you to remember. Number two, do your job. But the first thing you're supposed to remember, and the most important thing to remember, is make sure you go home to your family at night. Make sure you go home to your family at night. And if there's a question that I think I may not go home to my family tonight because somebody makes a quick move on a gun, especially in this environment, this day and age, I'm killing the son of a bitch because I'm going home. I'm going home to my family. And until you walk in a police officer's shoes, all of you don't know what the hell it's like to be out there. We'll take one more caller, and then we got our special guest walking in. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
Lloyd Bush.
Hey, Mayor, how you doing, buddy?
Real good. I got 2 fast comments. I blame 90% of these problems in the United States on the damn news media.
I agree with you, Mayor.
Last night, they covered about 3 minutes of the police officers getting shot down there, and 15 minutes about these 2 poor black guys who got shot.
No, I know.
Morning's Post-Dispatch has got 1 short paragraph about the shootings down there, and a whole page about the 2 poor black guys. I blame the news media 100%, and I worked for the St. Louis Police Department for many years. I call for all police officers to go on strike for a day. Let these son of a bitches see just how bad they're needed.
You know what, Mayor, I agree with you, and I don't think they should go on strike. I think we as an American people should get behind them and let them know that they're not perfect. But do your job, do it right. People are going to make mistakes. You know, they want to pay a policeman $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, and they want him to be a Einstein. You know, these guys aren't doctors and lawyers that can study for the situation they're going into. They never know what the situation's going to be. And Mr. Bush, thank you very much, and congratulations on your new wedding. I know you just got married. I couldn't make it. I appreciate the invitation, but congratulations to you and your lovely bride. And also, I want to put a shout out to the president of Ameren, Illinois, our good friend, Rich Marks. He was 61 years old yesterday. What a great guy. He's a proud black man. He's done great in the community. He doesn't think himself as a black man. He thinks himself as an American. And we want to salute you, Mark, on your 61st birthday. I would like to take some more callers, but with me, and it is an honor and a privilege to have this gentleman, and we're talking about law enforcement, we're talking about our military, and we're going to talk to him in just a minute. Proud to have the title of United States Marine, and with me today, it is an honor and a privilege, as it is every day, to salute not only our law enforcement, but our heroic military heroes. With me today, again, an honor and a privilege, Mitchell Spicer, Marine Mitchell Spicer. Mitch, it is an honor and a privilege to have you here along with your father, Seth Spicer. He's the mayor of Freeburg. But I think today and every day, that's secondary to him to be proud to represent the people of Freeburg. I think he's more proud of you and what you've done for your country. Mitch, it's great to have you back. You just getting back from some kind of basic training?
So I've been gone for a while, Bob. I went through a whole bunch of schooling. I'm an aviation mechanic, and in order to do so, I had a couple months down in Pensacola, Florida, down on the Navy base there, and went through some school, basically all day, just learning a trait that people, go to college for 4 years to learn, and I learned it in 4 months.
Yeah. How old are you, Mitch?
Well, I'm 19 years old, Bob.
You know what? You're one hell of a man. You're more mature at 19 than some of my friends are at 60, and I want to tell you that. And it's a shame to say that. When you put that Marine Corps uniform on, you got to get goosebumps. You got to get them.
It feels great. I wake up every morning, I put it on, and make sure I look like a Marine. And whenever I leave, you got to make sure that you're squared away. You're representing everything you stand for just by your appearance alone. And it it feels great.
I can tell you're awful proud to me, Marine. Do you have any second thoughts about maybe going away to college and hanging with the gals and the fraternity boys and playing athletics, or are you proud of what you did and happy for what you did?
Some days, I miss football. I miss it. Buddies and we talk on the phone all the time about this game and what we did when we were here and there and back in high school. And I miss them. I miss the sport. Sometimes I wish I would have gone to college, but I know for a fact that if I went to college and I didn't join the Marine Corps, I'd be a completely different person. And I think this is probably the best road that I could have taken.
Yeah, well, I think you're proud of the decision you made, and I know your father, Mayor Seth Spicer. Mayor, I know you got to be proud of Mitch and proud of all of our military heroes, but for your son to take the course that he took instead of taking the easy route, that's got to make you feel great as a father and as an American.
Yeah, Bob, every day I get up in the morning and, wonder what Mitch is doing today, because for 19 years, when I got up in the morning, he was there.
Been there, done that.
Now you don't know what's going on, where he's getting shipped, but hopefully he's going to stay out there in Arizona for a while. Getting married tomorrow, so. And
I'm going to be there, Paige. I'm proud to be invited. I mean that sincerely. Hey, Mitch, you're going to have your Marine garb on, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
I tell you what, yeah. Don't. I watch the Marines and all the military, but I'll tell you, nobody's sharper, and I don't want to cast a light on the other services, but nobody's sharper than a well-dressed Marine, and I mean that. That gives me goosebumps. I see him in parades. We see him at picnics, and, your pop got a little broke up, and I'll tell you, I know your pop misses you, but every day when he thinks about you, be proud. And Mayor, real quick on this situation with these police officers, I know the police department out in Freeburg, a very professional police department. I know some of the guys, they talk very highly of you. They say you're very supportive of the police department and the entire community. What's your quick take? I don't want to get involved in politics because I want to talk more about Mitch and his experience. But what's your take on this recent shooting and all these shootings?
Yeah, it's senseless. I got good friends of mine that are in the police department, and they go to work every day, and, if I knew they weren't coming home that day, I wouldn't send them out.
There you go. Thank you, Mayor.
You do a job just like I have a job. And, I want to go home and see my wife at night. I want to go home and see my kids. So for anybody to take senseless acts in our police department is just irresponsible as a human being.
Yeah. We talked off the air. I know that you'll probably be flying your flags at half-staff out of honor. And I salute you for that. Mayor Spicer, I talked to him, and nobody had to prod him. Nobody had to say, hey, let's wait for the governor. No, you don't have to. You can show respect. You don't need the governor, the president, for you to show respect. And for Mayor Spicer off the air talking about that he were going to fly their flags at half-staff in honor of these brave heroes, these 5 fallen officers. I think that's awful patriotic of you, Mayor, but I know you're a true patriot because you've got a Marine, a son sitting right next to you. And Mitch, I gotta say, the people of Freeburg ought to be proud of you and every military hero. But I still want to emphasize in people, Muhammad Ali, and I don't want to play politics on this. He dodged the draft. Here's Marine Mitchell Spicer. He went right into the Marines, knowing there's going to be fighting in Iraq and Iran for the next 20 years. He knew it wasn't going to be easy. And I just felt compelled, and I met Mitch a couple years back with his father, and I know his father's very proud of him even back then. But I just felt compelled to have somebody from the local community come on and just give us a take on what it's like. And Mitch, I know you get up at basic training, and I know it had to be hard on you. Was there some days you thought, hey, maybe I made the wrong decision, or from day one, did you know what you wanted to do?
It seemed like it was never going to end. That's just one thing.
Hey, thanks for being honest, because I know a lot of guys went through that, and it's difficult.
I would wake up, and I mean, man, I just have that split second to think. I'm like, wow, just another day. I got to do this.
Yeah.
And I remember about 6 weeks into boot camp, I remember sitting there one day. I had like couple minutes to myself. There was nothing going on, so I was just thinking, I'm like, I feel like I've been here for 10 years.
Yeah.
And
you haven't aged over 3 years, Mitch.
It was crazy how just time moves so slow, because all day long you were constantly
doing something
that either kept you busy, something that made you stronger, something that built you as a person, something that tore you down as a person, but rebuilt you in a better way. It was just nonstop, in, out, let's go, do it now, and it's
rewarding.
It was rewarding, though. Yes.
There you go. Hey, the mayor, how's your lovely bride and the Marine's lovely mother? How is she taking this whole ordeal?
Well, she's going to lose her little boy, so.
Yeah, but I tell you what, Mayor, there's nothing like losing a little boy and getting him replaced with a proud, young, big man. And I'll tell you, when you can take either, I think the trade-off and what I see sitting across the table from me, I think you and your wife, even though you've lost a little boy, you've gained a proud young man that's going to help this country, going to help his community. And that's a small sacrifice for what's in store for Mitch Spicer, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, and he's got a feisty one. He's marrying a great girl, Kirsten. Well, give us her last name.
Kirsten Kessler.
St. Mabori. Yeah, she's. I have no doubt that she will keep Mitchell in line. So between the Marines and Kirsten.
Well, I'd be more worried about her than the Marines, because I know how women can be. But Mitch, what do you have to say to all your friends that I know are listening from Freeburg and everybody? What do you have to say about being a Marine and what it's like? We've got about another minute or two.
I just love being patriotic. Keep understanding that this country runs by those who love it. I love this country. I'll do anything for it. I love who I am, where I grew up, the friends I've made, everything I've done. I wouldn't change a thing. People need to understand that everyone's not raised the same. We weren't raised as the same people, different households. We're taught different things. But in the end, we're still United States citizens. We need to just appreciate what we have, because it's a lot worse out there than what you think is going on everywhere.
You know, Mitch, I couldn't. Hey, for 19 years old, you're very mature. I couldn't have said it any better, but you're right. We don't know how good we have it in this country. Mayor, we've got about a minute, and since you are the mayor, we want to give you all due respect. What do you have to say to the good people of Freeburg and throughout this great country?
We're doing the best with what we got, Bob. With the state cutbacks and everything.
Yeah, that's got to be bad on you guys.
It's hard. We got, a million sidewalks that need replaced in town, and we got a grant, and then Governor Rauner comes in and takes the grant away. So it really puts you in a bind to take care of everything you need in town, with the sewers getting older and stuff like that. But I would like to put a plug in for our K9 golf tournament next weekend.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Matt Trott's done a great job with Joe Bolving on getting that set up. So if you haven't signed up or you want to donate to be a whole sponsor, you can get a hold of Matt Trott at the Village of Freeburg. So
yeah, we're going to send some money out to you guys, and I apologize for everybody. We didn't have time for our community affairs, but this situation in Dallas is a lot more important than community affairs at this time. But again, I want to thank Marine Mitch Spicer. Thank you for your service to this great country. Mayor, thank you for coming in today. The mayor of Freeburg. And Mayor Spicer is not a politician. He's a public servant. I've seen what he's tried to do, and you hear me, tried to do, because these public servants can only do what they're capable of doing. So when something bad comes up, don't blame the public servants, blame the politicians in Springfield and Washington, because they're the one putting a stop to it. So again, Mitch Spicer, Marine, thank you very much. We salute you and every Marine, Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard. We're going to go out. I usually go out crazy, but we're going to have a minute of silence for the 5 fallen officers in Dallas, and then we're going to go out with the American Trilogy. That's my favorite, and I can't show any more respect than that. But on the way out, people, remember, we live in the greatest country on this earth. Something's happening. We got to all come together, black, white, men, women, Democrats and Republicans. We all have to come together and have one title. Don't let them separate us. Let's don't be a black this, a white this, a man this, a woman this. Let's all just be true, proud Americans. That's all we need to be as Americans. We don't need to be divided and conquered. But when this happens in Dallas, when this happens in Minnesota, when this happens in Ferguson, there are bad apples in every profession. But let's don't hold it against the whole profession. And I have to say, I'm still aggrieved by the fact that these 5 officers were not allowed to wear riot gear because they didn't want to offend the rioters and the protesters. And because of that, they're not going home to their families. Now, I know that's a little melodramatic, but think about it. If your son, your daughter, your mother, your father, your husband, or your wife, if you knew that they were out there protecting the people of your community and you knew they weren't going to come home tonight, it's serious, people. So let's remember, let's honor our law enforcement. There are a few bad apples, but let's get behind all law enforcement, not black officers or white officers or female or male officers, our proud police community, because they serve us, they protect us, and at any point in time protecting us, they could lose their life. We're going out with a moment of silence and then the American Trilogy by Elvis Presley. And I hope every political leader has their flag flown at half-staff. Don't wait for Obama. Don't wait for Rauner. Don't wait for Madigan. Do it because you want to. Do it because it's in your heart. Don't worry about being politically correct. That politically correct crap is going to kill us one day. The moment of silence for the 5 fallen in Dallas.